wanted to see him, but he couldn't? And how many times have our parades closed those away who otherwise would see the Lord?
Zacchaeus had to get up a tree, and many times the only way the people of the world can see the Lord is when they get out on a limb. But the Lord comes into his house. No self-respecting Pharisee, teacher of the law, leader of Israel, or other upstanding Jewish citizen would do what Jesus did. And I want you to know, in the context of that moment, what Jesus did was highly controversial. It was extremely inflammatory. It set them to talking and to whispering and to suspecting all sorts of things. But Jesus turned to Zacchaeus and said, "Come out of that tree, for today I must eat at your house." Went in, had a private conversation with him, who knows how long, who knows what all he covered. But the end result of that is this man, who everybody else had written off as being a hardened, bitter, unreachable person, came out so transformed that he was willing to give 4 times whatever he had stolen back to people. Amazing conversion took place in the house of Zacchaeus. And Jesus said this statement to the crowd for them to hear it. "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man also is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save that which was lost." Some years ago, I was sitting at an intersection in Boulder in my car, and a motorcyclist pulled up beside me, a big biker, dressed in the whole stuff. Big monkey bars and raccoon tails hanging everywhere, and this thing is churning. And I just turned and looked at him, and the Lord in my spirit inquired of me this thing: "What do you see?" And without even thinking, I said, "I see a biker." And I looked across the street, and I saw a man in a 3-piece suit going into a bank with a briefcase. And the Lord said, "And what do you see there?" I said, "I see a banker." And I thought, biker, banker, okay, where's the candlestick maker here? But here I'm saying these things, and then I look back off to my left, and I see a transient coming out from the riverbed where he spent the night, brushing the leaves and the grass off of his dirty clothes, walking out into the park and stretching. And the Lord said, "And what do you see there?" I said, "I see a bum." And suddenly I heard myself, a biker, a banker, a bum. And the Lord rebuked me, and he said, "James, the problem with you is you have been touched just enough to see men as trees. You have been touched with just enough of the knowledge of my ways and my word to become judgmental and categorize men in neat little compartments where you can keep them at arm's distance and judge them. You need a second touch. You need to be able to see clearly so that you can see men as men. Look past the biker and see a man in need of Jesus Christ. Look past the banker and see a man in need of Jesus Christ. Look past the bum and see a man in need of Jesus. Look past the tax collector. Look past the prostitute. Look past those that are discolored. Look past those that are unpleasant. Look past the surface and see what is really there to see." And Jesus said, "I've come to seek and save that which was lost." A great verse in 2 Peter 3:9, the Lord really isn't slow about his promised return, even though it sometimes seems that way. He is waiting for the good reason that he is not willing that any should perish, and he is giving more time for sinners to repent. Do you want to know why Jesus hasn't come back yet? Because he's not satisfied with the count. That's the bottom line. It may be, I'm not saying that it is, but it may be the Father turned and said, "Well, it's your call, son. I think everything up here is pretty well set in order. You want to go down and get them and bring them on up?" And perhaps the Son has turned and said, "Father, can we wait about 500 more years?" Why? Well, it just seems like there ought to be more at this party. You get it? He is waiting for the good reason that he is not willing that any should perish, and he is giving time for sinners to repent. You can go encouraged with that. You can go to work. You can go into the neighborhood. You can go to marketplaces, divine appointments, casual encounters, and be looking for an opportunity to co-labor with Christ. Maybe here's a person who gets an opportunity to repent. Maybe here's a person who is about to be extended an invitation by the Lord Himself. The eyes of the Lord, as I said, are looking. The passage of Chronicles is very significant. Who among us will consecrate himself unto the Lord this day? Who of us would say, Lord, here am I, send me. Lord, here am I, use me. Lord, change me. Lord, soften my heart. Lord, begin to do something in me that causes me to look beyond the limits that I have set for my own faith and my own self. And give me the courage, the boldness, the audacity, the guts to break out of the shell that I've become contained in. And let me be a Christian and not just say I am. Let me be a light that shines in darkness and not just say I do. And let me have the joy of seeing those that I shine around start coming to the Lord. Now, all that so I can tell you these three things. I just had to set that as a framework as to the burden of the Lord and the passion of the Lord towards evangelism. He's never altered from it, and our responsibility in these things has never been rescinded. So are we clear on that? It's helpful if you say yes, or otherwise I have to say this stuff all over again.